Eric Hiltz from Bin 412, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the ultimate guide to rosé wines that you must try this summer. First, I'm going to explain a few methods that winemakers use to make rosé wines and how that makes them look and taste different. Next, I'll be reviewing 4 very different rosé wines from around the world, available on the marketplace right now, which give you a nice overview of a variety of styles that I think are worth seeking out this year. Throughout the video, I'll be sharing some interesting facts and trivia about these wines that you may not have known, so stick with me for a few minutes and you'll be on your way to getting summer started, feeling confident that you'll walk away with a wine that's right for you the next time you're at the store. Now, there are a few ways to make rosé, which yield some different results. It's worth noting that the juice from most grapes is clear, and that red wines get their colors from contact with the skins, a process known as maceration. So the first method of making rosé is either direct press or a very short maceration period. Direct press, or vin gris as it's sometimes called, is basically using methods to make a white wine, but using red wine grapes. So the grapes are crushed, pressed off the skins immediately, with little to no maceration time at all. The color extraction and tannins therefore are minimal, and fermentation is kicked off immediately with the resulting juice. Alternatively, winemakers can allow the juice to macerate with the grape skins for a short time, typically a few hours or even a couple of days. The longer the juice is in contact with the skins, the deeper the color of the wine, and the more structure and phenolic compounds you'll get. Once the desired color and structure is achieved, the juice is pressed off of the grape skins and fermentation can begin. Another method is the Saignée Method. This is a French term for bleeding. The method basically involves bleeding off some of the juice from the red grape must during the early stages of the winemaking process. So the process concentrates the remaining juice, which is then used to produce a more robust red wine. So Saignée Method rosé typically have a Big Brother red wine to go along with them. The potential downfall of this method is that the grapes are really picked to ensure the quality of the resulting red wine, whereas in direct press or short maceration method rosés, grapes are typically pressed a bit earlier, specifically for rosé production, to preserve some of the acidity, the freshness, and the aromatics. Yet another method is blending. This method just simply involves mixing red and white wines together to create a rosé colored wine. Far less common method, not even allowed in many wine producing regions, and mainly done for large commercial bottlings. Now, rosé can be made from any red grape variety, and they're made all over the world. In many regions, you'll find wines from the predominant red grape of that area. So in Sonoma, you'll see a lot of rosés made from Zinfandel, for instance. In Oregon, from Pinot Noir, Tuscany from Sangiovese, Southern France from Grenache, and so on and so forth. So let's get into it and taste through the 4 examples I picked up, all under $20. The first wine is the 2020 Commanderie de la Bargemone Coteaux des Provence. Now, Provençal rosés from the southeast of France are among the lightest and most recognizable style of rosé. They tend to be delicate with good floral aromas, red berries, and are closer in mouthfeel to a white wine, really light-bodied and easy drinking. This one is $17.99 in the Pennsylvania state stores right now. The property was originally founded by the Knights Templar in the 13th century, and the estate is now planted with Cabernet, Syrah, Grenache, Counois, and Sauvignon Blanc. In recent years, they've moved to all organic farming techniques as well, and it's amazing to get this level of farming and winemaking for a $20 bottle. This is textbook Provençal rosé. Now, this wine is a direct press, no maceration on the skins. Each grape is vinified separately, then blended from what I understand. Though I've seen different percentages, it's a Grenache dominant blend, about 40%, with other smaller amounts of Cinsault, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Rolle, which is a local name for the white grape Vermentino. The nose, tons of strawberry, watermelon, red currant. There's a bit of spice there as well, some herb de Provence, kind of lavender and thyme note. Really bright red fruit, but with a certain kind of peppery herbaceousness as well. Palate is crisp, clean, those fresh berry notes, and again, this savory, mouthwatering acidity that makes you really want to have another sip. This is crushable. It's 13% alcohol. You'd have to be careful on a hot day with this one, but insanely drinkable, great for the poolside, great for the boat, great on a hot summer day for sure. Now let's move on to Italy. There are tons of rosés in Italy made from Sangiovese and Tuscany, Nebbiolo and Piemonte, but I think the Bardolino area in northeast Italy on Lake Garda, where they're known as Chiaretto, are some of the finest. Don't let the similarity in color here fool you. With the perfect kind of onion skin color, these are more assertive with a slight tannic edge to them and really intense minerality. This wine, the 2020 Le Morette Bardolino Chiaretto Classico Rosado, is available for $15.99, is made from 55% Corvina, 35% Rondinella, and 10% Molinaro, the same grapes used to make the rich and opulent Amarone wines of the Veneto region. This winery was founded by Gino Zanato in the 1960s as a vine nursery, but they've actually made some of their own wine there as well, all the way back to the 60s. And then in the 80s, his son Valerio put them on the map, and now third generation sons Fabio and Paolo work with their father. It's named after the Morette, a species of diving duck that nests in the small glacial Facino Lake, just about a half a mile from the southern shores of Lake Garda. These ducks migrate from all over Europe and then they nest in this small lake during the day, fly to Lake Garda to dive for shellfish at night. Now this wine spends 1 day on the skins before being pressed off to complete the fermentation. On the nose, you have tons of floral notes, some red raspberry as well, even some stone fruit. But one of the things that I pick up on this wine more than the Provençal Rosé is this kind of grassy or barnyard hay note. Not quite as aggressive as maybe a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, more kind of in the hay than the grassy category, but there's definitely a straw-like note to this. The palate has some more richness and weight to it here. Riper fruit, some candied fruit notes even. Still a bit savory with kind of like some nutty kind of almond and baking spice notes here on the finish as well. You can feel the tannins on your tongue and this tremendous kind of mineral streak reminding you of where these grapes were grown. Much more of a food wine here than the last. Really packs a lot into a 12% frame. This is tremendous. Definitely worth seeking out. Next, we're going to move over to Spain with the 2020 Castillo de Eneriz Rosé, available for only $11.99 from the Navarra region near Pamplona, Spain, famous for the running of the bulls. They've historically been known for producing simple Garnacha-based rosadas in the flat plains along the Ebro River, overshadowed mainly by the great red wines of Rioja just to the south. Now, Navarra is starting to embrace some more international varieties as well as larger plantings of Tempranillo and are making better and better wines all the time. Still, it's mostly known for these rosé wines. Now, this is a Saignée Method rosé, so it has skin, seed, and lees contact for a few hours, and then a specific amount was bled off to ferment in stainless steel at a lower temperature than its big brother red wine. The winery was purchased in 2014 by a larger company, Manzanos Wines, to increase their holdings in the region and add to their broad portfolio of Rioja and Navarro wine region vineyards. Let's take a look at this one. A little bit more citrus on the nose, some grapefruit notes as well, in addition to the still present strawberry note for sure. A little bit of florals as well, but mainly what I'm impressed by most is the citrus notes on this wine. First thing you notice is a definite, a bit more creaminess on the palate with this wine. Perhaps because the grapes were harvested later for the red wine production. Still, the alcohol is really in check here at 13%. Definitely good energy here still, but I'd say the fruit is riper and creamier than the first two examples for sure. So if you like a bigger, creamier textured wine, this might be a good rosé to start with. Now we're going back to France, but to the southern Rhone Valley, known for Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre blends from towns like Gigondas, Vaccarat, and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Just on the other side of the Rhone River from these towns lies Tavel, world-renowned for a very specific style of rosé with super long maceration times of 48 to 72 hours, made really more like a red wine. In fact, this is one of the first French-designated AOC regions and the only one in the Rhone Valley that is entirely dedicated to rosé wine production. This wine is the 2021 Domaine des Carteresses Tavel, and it's made from a blend of 50% Grenache, 15% Mourvèdre, 13% Claret, which is a white grape, 12% Picpoul Noir, and 10% Syrah. Unlike Provence, reds and whites here must be co-fermented together by law, not brought up separately and then blended back together like we saw in the Provençal Rosé. This wine weighs in a little bit higher than the other ones with a 13.5% alcohol by volume. Now, the first thing you'll notice here, obviously, is the difference in color. And again, this is because of the super long maceration times in Tavel. On the nose, if you were smelling this blind, you might actually think it's a chilled red wine. It's bursting with black cherry and blackberry notes. Even a tad bit of chocolate, kind of a dusty chocolate-covered cherry, but really bright and energetic on the nose as well. Full-bodied, powerful and flinty at the same time, and a nice long structured finish. It's kind of got this wood smoke and spice note in addition to those black cherry notes that I talked about. This is about as serious a rosé as you're gonna find, and it would do it exceptionally well with grilled chicken, grilled pork, spicier Asian dishes. Mediterranean food would be wonderful. Definitely a rosé to drink year-round, not just in the summer by the pool, but would work equally well in the winter with some comfort food. So there you have it, a handful of rosés for you to try. And remember, don't wait for summer to drink these. These are great year-round, especially some of these more structured examples. They're great at the table. And also remember that I think these get better after a year or two in bottle. So don't be afraid to bypass the 2021s you're seeing for the 2020s or even the 2019s on the shelf. They may actually be in a better place right now. So be sure to like this video, comment below, tell me your favorite rosé or what you thought of any of these wines if you happen to go out and try them. Be sure to subscribe as well so I can continue to bring you great wine content on a regular basis, make the world of wine a slightly smaller place, and better educate you on your next purchase. Cheers.